Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Andy Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Happy Friday.
All right, happy Friday is right. Maybe not happy Friday for the PR people at PayPal here, but this stock's been hammered. Now they've got some more controversy on the books here, but the stock's had a nice run of over 25% gains from those lows that we saw at the end of June. What kind of data are you seeing out of PayPal? Because right now they got a little PR nightmare going on.
Yeah, and it's really hard to feel sorry for them at all at this point. I mean, it's kind of one of those Einstein moments where, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, here we have PayPal. Just 2 weeks ago, the company comes out and puts this $2,500 fine for spreading misinformation in their terms of use. The world outcry was unbelievable. They retracted it. They apologized. They said it was never supposed to be in there. And then just earlier this week, we see again surfacing more and more controversy as users are picking up that this $2,500 fine is back in the terms of service. And the outrage, quite frankly, is palpable. We're seeing with LikeFolio data, the consumer happiness level that people have with PayPal has just absolutely plummeted on this. And it's a sustained plummet. This is a company that used to be 75%, 80% positive. One of our leaders in terms of digital wallets used to be right up there with Square and its Cash App. And now we've seen just a dramatic fall and an entirely preventable reversal of fortune that the company has put itself in. And, users are fed up, and it's not just consumer happiness. This isn't just what we see sometimes with political type of outrage or boycotts because somebody advertises on the wrong show or something like that. This is, across the board, across the political spectrum, outrage at PayPal, and it's actually taking hold in user actions. When we look at, some Google data in terms of the number of people looking for an alternative to PayPal, that is absolutely spiking through the roof. And even more damning for the company is that people are searching for how do I close my PayPal account entirely at a record pace, and it's not going away. The company did not get away with this sleight of hand, the kind of retraction, and then quietly put it back out there. And so I think users are rightfully upset. They're looking for alternatives, and there's plenty of companies out there ready to pick up the scraps. And we see that in the data day in and day out. This is a growing phenomenon. I think PayPal has a really, really serious problem, at least in the English-speaking world, has a really, really serious problem with credibility. And it's not a good situation when you want to be trusted to hold people's money and you want to monitor their speech and activities off platform. I think that's a really dangerous combination. And, the internet and the user base is right to confront them on this and to demand a change.
Andy, when you get a self-inflicted wound like PayPal just gave themselves, we all know Venmo with younger people, and even now that demographic is going higher, is pretty popular with people. But when you see something like this, when you see just a polarizing view of the world that just offends everyone, there's no one who wouldn't be offended by this, because what you're talking about is free speech, and what you're talking about are people's views, and to discriminate these people and put a dollar amount on it. And by the way, there's other choices, right? There's other choices to send money to other people and buy things on e-commerce and online. How could they possibly sit here and let this problem fester over time and not nip it and not eliminate the people involved? I mean, this is an unforced, a self-inflicted wound that has not been a tourniquet applied to it yet, Andy. How can they keep letting this happen?
I don't know. every once in a while I might try a home improvement project at home and get the hammer out and hit the nail and it accidentally hit my finger. And you know what I do from that point on? I'm really careful not to hit my finger again. But it almost feels like PayPal has gone out of its way to hit itself again with this. This is, I can't help but think that the corporate communications team, the corporate, terms of use team must be just in an isolated bubble that is impenetrable by what the market reaction and the consumer reaction is. I will be extremely interested to hear what they have to say and the excuses that they have to make on their earnings call later in the season. I think this is one that we're watching really closely because it's very clear to us that people are closing their account, moving their money out, or at the very least, unlinking their bank accounts from these accounts and keeping small balances in their PayPal and Venmo accounts. So there's only so much the company can take if they decide that that's the appropriate punishment for your behavior or speech.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The competition in this space, Andy, makes it easy for people to switch. But, I noticed on some of your data, the PayPal alternative, you've seen the spike higher in early October when this first came to light, and then the company retracts it, right? And then you see your data fall. So everybody's kind of comfortable with it. Now it's trending back higher. Does the company have the ability, according to your data, to kind of retract this and kind of backtrack where maybe that data kind of goes back towards normal? Or do you think this is something extensive that PayPal should be worried about for the long term?
Yeah, I think if they would, they came out the first time and said somehow this snuck through our language into our terms. People were skeptical of that. They think, probably they just got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. But when they retracted that at that time, if they would have come out and said, look, here's what the policy is meant for. It's meant to, keep people from, selling extremely hateful or violent propaganda on our platforms, that sort of thing. I think people would have understood that. But the fact that they just retracted it and now it's back, the second time you kind of have to say, okay, this is really what they intend to do. And I'm not sure that they can come out with a statement fast enough to correct for this. And if they do, I would, if I could walk into the room with PayPal right now as a consultant, I would say, you guys have to get out there and you have to clarify what this means and very specifically what types of actions that this fine would apply to, and put that in your terms of service. Because right now it reads so ambiguous that people rightfully think PayPal has the right to take up to $2,500 out of their account at any time of their choosing, based on any number of fairly vague guidelines. So PayPal has dug itself in a hole, and it's really unbelievable to me. It really makes me angry as a former shareholder of PayPal. I was very bullish. We were very bullish on PayPal. It was one of those leading kind of turnaround digital wallet companies, and to see them just throw it all away in terms of their relationship with customers and users is it's unforgivable at this point.
Yeah, and Andy, we've got earnings coming in next week. Based on your data that you've seen over the last several weeks, I'm guessing your earnings score is going to be a lot lower than it was a month ago.
Yeah, it's moving lower quickly, and it's one of those time periods where any of these tech firms come out with anything negative, as we've seen, they get sold off so fast, it's unbelievable. So PayPal risk definitely to the downside in the near term.
All right, great stuff as always, Andy. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
That's Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio, helping us break down data on some changes here for PayPal. Kevin, when you look at this,